Hello guys, welcome to Druco tutorial. Today we are going to talk about clock-in system part 3. Here is our clock-in system introduction. What we're going to do here is to let the program record our employees' clock-in time. Let's take a look at what we did so far. When an employee input his or her name, then we will have a checkpoint here to see if his or her name is on the name list or not. If his or her name is on the name list, the program will proceed and record down the name and clock-in time into this record file. And if it's not on the list, then we will give 3 chances, and if the fail times reaches 3, then the program will terminate. Now here is our new quiz here. How do we tag the record as clock in or out? Imagine that if an employee has multiple records in a day. So how to differentiate which records are clock in and which ones are out? You can simply have a pause right here to think about this question yourself. And if you are ready to see my answer, then please proceed with this video. Now here is my approach. So let's have a file for example. We have Mary's 3 records here. We will simply assume that the first one is clock in. So what we're program gonna do is put a tag here. This tag is called clock in. And for the other ones, except for the first, we will simply assume it as clock out. This is my simple approach. Maybe you have alternative way, like you can let them input the clock in and out by themselves, but that will take additional step. So for this tutorial, I will gonna use this approach to proceed. To add more explanation of this approach, why do we take the second record as clock out? Because you can think about that if the clock in time we take is the most early one, then it doesn't make sense if we take the second record as the clock in time, because we only will check the first one as the clock in time we consider as the work time. So we will simply have only one clock in time, and for the rest, it will be clock out time. And when we want to calculate the employee's working hours, then we will consider the only one clock in time and the last clock out time. How do we design the program structure based on that approach? Now, also, we leave a thinking time here for you to think of how to derive a program structure. Try to draw a logic flow diagram. And you can have a pause right here. And if you are ready for looking at my answer, then you can proceed. Now here is my approach. Let's take a look at the whiteboard. Now let's assume we have an employee making a record now. My logic will simply be checking if today's record exists or not. If today's record for this employee does not exist, then let's make it no. Then it will be a clockin. If it do exist, then it will simply be the clock out. So this is my logic here. Finally, it's our coding time. If you want to challenge yourself, I suggest you to pause it right here and try to program it by yourself first. And now I will demo how do I code the previous structure in Python. Before we proceed, let's take a look at what we do before we start coding. We will install Python and install our IDE. In this tutorial, we use VS Code. Also, we will install a Python extension based on VS Code. If you haven't do these steps, you can watch other YouTube tutorials on the web. There are plenty of them. If you already prepared, we shall get started. This is our last program, and let's make a copy. And let's rename it as clockIn3. I will make some modification here, and I will tell you why. Because when we do the input-output actions, it's better to use with. And let's comment it out to let you see the difference. With open file name as f, and we replace this as f. Okay, and the rest of the code are the same. The variable name is employees and it equals f, which we have a statement here that this thing will equals f dot read. So we use this instead of this because we're using the with statement, which the code block here, when it completes, then the file will close automatically, so we can release some resources. And one additional advantage is if there is exception happen in this code block inside the with statement, it will also close the file eventually. Now let's replace the other IO by with statement. Now we find an IO action here, so let's replace it by using with statement with open as f. Okay. Now let's take a look at our record file. So what we're gonna do here is to simply check if the newcomer already has a record of the today's date. So the point here is we need to fetch a string that looks like this, the employee name and today's date. And then we gonna check if this particular string exists or not inside the clockIn record. So we're gonna make this string out. How do we do this? We will do this by adding a code block here. We will make use of this clockInTime. clockInDay equals clockInTime.strftime. And the format will be year, month, day. I will explain this in a unit test file for you. And we will simply copy the part we need right here. Let's copy this part to here, and also for these two lines here. So let's print out clockInTime first and print out clockInDay as second line. You will see for the clockInTime, it shows the whole time, include hour, minute, and second, and so on and so forth. And for the new string here, it simply shows year, month, day, and with the format we give here. So if you change this to the underline, you will see it presents as the underline format. Previously, we used this one. So why do we use this format? Because we want to check if this string already exists in this clockIn record here, right? But what particular string we want to make sure is actually the name adding the string. So let's formatting it. After the employee input their name here, so the crucial point is here. We will judge if the clockIn is already exists today for this employee. So let's write an if statement here. If we give a formatting of the string, we need to check employee name /t clockInDay in clockInRecord. So first thing first, we need to read the clockIn record, right? Let's read it here. With open this as f clockIn record equals f.read. And now we will get all string of this clockIn record file, so we can check inside if this string is contained inside the file. If it is, then we will make a clockout. So add an additional clockout tag here. And instead, if it's not already inside, then we will assume it as a clockIn. But welcome to office will only suitable for the clockIn employee, right? So we will move it here. And for here, let's make a more suitable one for clockout employees, such as things for work today. And then have a great day. Let's try it out. So let's give a simple check of today's record. So for testing purpose, we will delete some record here. Okay, let's delete it to here. So let's give a clock in for Mike because today is November 6th. And we already have a Mike record for today here, so we assume the next record to be clock out. Let's see if it's what we expected. Okay. Mike. Okay, it shows thanks for the work today, Mike. So it is what we expected. And take a look at the record file. So we have a new line appeared to be clock out. And now let's try employee that hasn't had a record today. So let's try out using Mary's name. The first record for her will be clock in. And yeah, it is what we expected. And the second clock record should be clock out. Yeah, the string is what we expected and the record is also what we expected. So how about the third attempt? The third attempt, guess what it should be? It's also a clock out. Yeah, that is also what we expected. So congrats, we have successfully fulfilled this special function. Let's take a look at what we did so far. We have accomplished the second additional feature is about multiple clock in and clock out handling. For this feature board, we completed this new feature, handle multiple clock in and out. I want to give a simple introduction of Drew code. Our goal is to deploy real-world codes. So we provide some Python online course, and we aim at providing some Python tutorial for practical usage. And also, we would like to give a shout out of SlideScope for providing this beautiful and free slides platform for us. And thank you guys, and we looking forward to see you again in the future for next episode. Bye bye.